So I got an email from Jeff Ripe. He's the chief engineer of the Raisin Jake studio, and he made a plugin and he wanted me to snake oil it. So let's run the oil through it then, shall we? So the plugin we're talking about is the SideMinder trademark. Okay, it's a dynamic stereo width maximizer. Big, wide stereo mixes are impressive but can fall apart when mixed to mono or played back on a single speaker. Yes! 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 The first sentence of a plugin never impressed me more than this. People forget about the mono compatibility. Single speaker performance is still a thing. And actually, mono compatible mixes just sound better. It's just, you know, if you listen to it on a hi-fi system, they even sound better when they are just mono compatible. But this can happen when the left and right channels contain out-of-phase signals that partially or maybe even completely cancel when mixed to mono. Many stereo image enhancers can cause this. Yeah, that's a thing. That's really a thing that's annoying me. People are using so much stereo enhancers, but they're just damaging the polarity of their own mixes. The phase coherency. Yeah, this out-of-phase condition shows up as negative correlation on correlation meters. If your stereo mix shows up in a negative range on a correlation meter, it means that parts of the signal will cancel when mixed to mono. Not good. That's not good, guys. It's not good. You shouldn't go out of phase on your left and right channel. Yeah, you should if you're stupid, but I know certain music genres where stupidity is actually a selling point. SideMinder can help control this stereo imaging problem. SideMinder is a dynamic stereo width enhancer that can increase the width of a stereo track, bus and or master mix without risking polarity inversion. SideMinder listens to the stereo material using look-ahead fur correlation detectors and dynamically narrows the stereo image precisely if or when negative correlation begins to occur. Okay, so it's a compressor that for the sidechain input looks at the output correlation or the correlation of the input signal. Mixes that come out of here should remain mono-compatible. This effect cannot be obtained using typical mid-side compression techniques, nor does SideMinder alter the overall dynamics of the signal. SideMinder is a differential limiter, not a dynamic range limiter. Oh, that's good to hear. Stay off of my dynamic range! Don't touch my dynamic range. Okay. Cool. There's one thing that I'm not 100% sure about this, but I don't think there's a demo of the plugin, which is a bit sad. The cool thing is that he did send it directly in the first email. I actually didn't email him back yet. Maybe I should. So I'm going to run that one, the one that he included in the email. So now on this one, I'm going to use a bit more stereo version of the track called Sandstorm by Darude. Now, bass mono width limiter. Output correlation. Oh yeah, okay. Process. Monitor input. Oh, bypass. That's the bypass. Why don't he just put bypass on there? Everybody understands the word bypass. I mean, it's a universal audio engineering word. Bypass. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so that's as soon as it tends to get out of phase. That's really interesting. As soon as it tends to get out of phase, it just adjusts the width again back to the normal position so that you will maximize the width of your track. Now I don't believe him. I don't believe him like directly. Now let's look at the phase correlation thing. Now I also don't know what this thing does. Really, who really understands this phase correlation? But I'm looking at this one, and as I can see, the output of the plugin, the real correlation, it doesn't go out of phase. Now let me switch the signal to mono, like we're 200% width adjusting, like. Cool. And if I now don't enable it. Okay, that's cool. So we're staying like phase coherent. Slow release. Oh, so it goes slower to, or... So you would say that if you put the release too fast, that would be the widest, because it will be at the widest setting most of the time. All right, and we do have a bass filter, all right. So our bass would be mono now. Yeah, indeed, our bass is mono, but I don't know. Yeah, it already was mono, but let's go up to 300. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. Well, up to 200 is mono, so not 300 to... Yeah. It's a very subtle mono setting. I always love to have the bass mono at literally 100% mono. I really like to cut with 96 dBs on the side channels. Tiny plugin, kind of a big deal, kind of isn't a big deal as well. I mean, I never had the urge to get a stereo imager or widening the stereo field. Not in mixing and not in mastering. The thing is, when my mix isn't wide enough, I can make it wider. I mean, with Panorama you can get pretty far. I never ever really had the problem to get it wider. Now in mastering I also never have the problem of width of the stereo field, because if it isn't wide enough, I just email the client back that it isn't wide enough, that it needs to be wider. Or if the client wants to have it wider, yeah, you need to make it wider in the mix. So it's really a fixture that I personally won't need. Although I can imagine that there are a lot of music styles, for instance EDM, where width is really important. And I do hear on a regular basis EDM tracks that are super wide but not mono compatible anymore, and they will get into problems in smaller clubs and where things are being played in mono, and you will be amazed by the amount of mono that there is in the world. It sells for $25 US, which I think is a pretty nice price, pretty competitive price for such a plugin. Again, it's a small plugin. It's really handy to have in your toolbox. And the handiest thing of it is that you can just put it on there and don't have to think too much about it or think. It's a thing that can handle itself. So normally when you're working with imaging, always have to check, keep in mind, check on everywhere in your production if things are still mono compatible. And with this thing, it takes care of that for you. So you just can set it to a setting where you think it sounds great and just have it sit there. So yeah, cool little plugin. And it's up to you guys to decide if you actually need it. Again, I don't really believe in imagers, but maybe you do. And with that being said, I want to end this video over here. Thanks a lot for watching this episode of Snake Oil Plugin Preview Not Reading Manual series. If you liked it, let me know that with a thumbs up, a subscribe or a comment. Also drop a comment below with ideas for future plugins, future videos for plugins. Yeah. If you want to support me and want to check out more of my content, you can do that on Patreon. There will be Patreon exclusive content on Patreon, and there already is a lot of that on there. But if you haven't checked all my public content yet, I will link one of my other videos over here, because there's also a lot of public content on YouTube from me. So check it out over here. Now, if you didn't like my content, I suggest unsubscribing and never watching a video of me again. Thanks a lot for watching this one. I'll see you guys again in the next one, if you want to see the next one. Bye bye.